it in a clinical background of anything. I don't think as a clinician she's giving any evidence on what she's talking about. And a lot of times in social work field, we work now on clinical evidence based practices, and she's not saying any really relevant evidence. I think So this is just my opinion, right? And I'm on the fence about how I feel about her. My second thing is I think she's kind of being very damaging to um, people in the field. As Black women in social work, they already look at us a certain kind of way anyway. And I just think that she's almost, I don't want to say discrediting us, but I want to say maybe brings into question, about us and our credibility, because why choose a doctorate, right? She could have chose to be anything. She could have been a life coach, right?
Hmm.
And given a background in psychology and just talking from that as life coaching experiences, but she chose to be a doctor, and a doctor in itself carries a lot of weight, right? It means that you've been to school, you've been to accredited, well, should be accredited, right? You've
Hmm.
had a dissertation, you've went through a certain amount of training, and then just through her conversations that she's had with people, I don't hear any of that. So I just think that she's kind of making a lot of us that's in the field of psychology look bad.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that. That would be one of the things that I noticed about her. Whereas in um, just so people who don't understand, or if you ever find yourself in this situation, you will begin to at least see the signs and be able to maybe respond properly. But a therapist should never really be telling you what your problem is, right? They should be guiding you along a path that brings you to a realization. They
Right.
should be offering information to you in a way that isn't diagnosing you.
Right. Kind of makes you take a look at an introspective look and start kind of connecting some dots that's gone along with you, because you're kind of telling us things about you, but we need to pull it out in a certain way that'll help you come to some conclusions on your own. Not, as she sounds like she's found a lot of solutions. And when I look into her background, it doesn't look like she has very credible sources.
Yeah, and like a lot of clinical hours, or just like done a lot of the that pro bono style work that is necessary to say okay, and done enough case conferencing and gone and listened and even taken her cases over here and said, hey, listen, I had this client and they were like this, and get some advice from senior and other peers in the profession. You know what I mean? This
And I
is
think I'd like to clarify also, she talked about, I saw a clip where she talked about, well, you only need to prove that to bill for hours about being a doctor, and that's not true. That title comes along with a lot of hard work and dedication to the profession. And so for her to minimize it down to just billing, it shows that she hasn't put in the work that's required from it. And I think a lot of people who've gone and gotten their doctorate degree would be very offended because it takes a lot of work.
Well, and I think there's a neurological conditioning that happens and a muscle reflex that occurs when you spend that much time in in the educational system attempting to get that. It's a real tear you down, build you back up kind of school system when you get into higher education. You know what
Right,
I mean? So
right,
so everybody comes out there kind of differently, and I just don't feel like she's really displaying that you know what I'm saying? Like you've really torn down and had to be built back up to be the psychologist that you are now.
right.
And with those long hours and beating yourself over 1,000 different, you know what I mean, research papers, and just to write a whole dissertation within itself can take months.
Right, right.
You
And
know.
so even though the school is gone, and it's not like she went to school back in the 19, the timing that she went to school had started using electronic files at that time. And so you should still be able to look up her dissertation.
Hmm.
You
I,
know,
I
my,
would I would
my
love.
mom got hers in the 80s, and if I can remember, you can still find her dissertation. So you should be able to find some evidence of schooling. Even though the school is gone, it should be something that you should be able to use. So I think instead of her, trying to defend her being a doctor, I think she should probably stop focusing on the title, right? And maybe just use life coach, which would be more relevant, I guess, is what she's trying to do. But I'm not really understanding what is her purpose for trying to stand so firm on the doctorate that she really doesn't have experience with.
Mm. Uh, yeah, I would really like to know what her point of standing on that is too, and I'd really like to know what's the form of therapy that she's actually using. Like I mean, like in a more personal setting where she's doing, say, one on one with a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
who are some of her mentors or people that she follows? What school of ethics has she, gone to? And I have never heard her cite any of those things. I feel like a lot of her things are personal experiences, and which you have to be careful with putting yourself in those things all the time when you're doing, when you're doing that kind of work.
yeah, yeah. So for me, my verdict is we'll see. I'm really waiting to see if some people that have gone to her and had sessions with her come out the woodworks and you know what I mean, become testimonials somehow or something.
I think that if they were like that she would have came out already with them because they would have probably been the first people she stepped out with. Like, these were my clients, and this is how I helped them. And I haven't seen any of those things. And quite frankly, if we go back and look into her history, I don't even know where she came from. I've never heard of her.
Uh, then you say she came from like Real Housewives or something,
Which is a scripted show.
right? Which makes you wonder, who helped her get this
How
off.
much credibility she had? She's not on the doctors that are on what's that, Married to Medicine, because they are professional doctors who are actually practicing, you know, have practices. She
Mm-hmm.
came off of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So for all we know, she could just be another character.
When you put it like that, it's like maybe she is. You know,
Yeah.
I'm really wondering if I like my thing was like okay, usually
I
there's
think I
things.
see your chat is going on. I don't know if you can
Oh
see it.
yeah. Oh wait, I just see Make Maybach. Peace and salute, King. What's good, brother? It's good to see you in the chat. That's my sister right there, man. So big up my sis, man, for showing up for me, man. I appreciate that. She's very knowledgeable. She has master's degree. She even taught at Fordham University. So
Mhm.
this is somebody that actually, did the schooling and everything and
Yeah,
understands.
that's what kind of it's concerning because she could have chose masters, you know what I'm saying? But she chose doctor, the highest level. So I'm like, whoa,
I personally think it's a form of of like authority, you know, and one-upsmanship.
hmm.
When you say, oh well, I'm a doctor. I have doctor in psychology. It's like, oh, there's no questioning that person at that point. And at
Listen,
least in
I
your
told
mind,
you I
it's like,
had the conversation with you before about this whole doctorate thing because now they're giving a lot of rappers and celebrities these honorary doctoral certificates, and I don't understand what's the purpose of it. And they're walking along or on the stage with people who actually went to school for that. I mean, I think it's just a slap in the face just because somebody's a celebrity. That means they should get an honorary degree. Like, why?
yeah, I should look that up. I'm not even sure what an honorary degree even means. If you know in the chat, I'll appreciate you, Maybach. Maybach said, "Peace and prosperity to your sister." Um, no, I don't. I'm not 100% even sure what an honorary degree from a university even means. You know, I
Yeah.
knew, I knew somebody that had an honorary sheriff's badge. Like
What does that mean?
they had like they was a citizen, but they was given a badge from the sheriff's department.
Can I
And
go and use it?
well, they could in certain limited ways, but they was like on some council too. but they was never a cop.
Okay.
And that was somebody that was super rich though. They were super rich. They was as rich as these people you're talking about.
Well, I say that because the last one I saw, this is me going into pop culture. I saw that and I'm on my computer. I'm going to look that up that you asked. But I saw that they gave Black China an honorary doctoral degree in uh, what do they call it for when you are? I can't think of it to be a pastor. What is it? It's a degree.
Oh, when you go to like seminary school,
Yeah,
you can get a master's or something like that. Oh,
oh,
take
somebody
photo
said
said
something.
honorary doctrine is not a degree. You can apply for or earn through coursework. Instead, it's is a prestigious award bestowed by universities to recognize.
Ah, okay. I, for personally, I'm offended if I paid 20 and 30,000 a semester to go to a school and I'm sitting next to somebody who never took a course on it.
I mean, I guess that's why they give it to celebrities, essentially. You know,
Mm,
but
yeah.
the reason I had brought up the Cheryl Bryant thing too was because, like I was saying, because I was wondering if this is gonna spark an interest in therapy.
Um, I don't know. I think the interest now more lies more on people's credibility when they come on there claiming to be these professionals. I think that's the argument that's going to get started.
Mm. Yeah, that's like Napoleon Hill, who was he wrote Think and Grow Rich, and that's still one of the number one selling books in the world, and he was a complete fraud. He stole half the book, made half the book up, and the rest was common sense, literally.
Hmm.
And it don't even matter if you tell anybody now because the book had its influence on people. Like
Right.
for whatever reason,
Right.
they believe it and it works. So
And it's crazy because we're in a society now where this negative behavior gives people even more attention.
yeah, you could thank the social media experts for that. You know, they I think we're also in a more cerebral era than we've ever been in.
Mm.
Where everything you know is like. I personally feel like people are more going to life coaching now.
Yes, I think so too.
You know, because that concept of manifestation and the mind and stuff, I think it's been pitched to people very well. You know, and so
Yeah,
people they gravitate toward that more.
yeah. Well, I think that's a more appropriate title because if you go and when people go to you and you say you're a doctor, I think they have certain expectations that come along with that title, right? And you wouldn't go to a medical doctor who didn't have credible sources of where he comes from. Usually, people like that end up going to jail if they practice being a doctor.
Yeah, you wouldn't run down to a doctor and say somewhere deep in South America.
Or even here, though.
You know,
Those people we've seen the people who've claimed to be doctors who've gotten arrested because there's no credibility to what they're claiming. There haven't been no degrees or anything.
but this is
I've
usually
seen it
long
happen.
after they've hurt somebody.
Mm, yeah, I guess. I'm pretty sure there are cases where they got closed because they their credentials expired. Because they have to also go to additional training every so often. You have to make up with so many credits a year by showing that you're continuing your education. And if they don't do that, they lose their credentials. Same
Right?
thing with lawyers,
Yeah.
right? So
Hmm.
I haven't even. I mean, even to defend that, I don't see her going to any conferences. She hasn't, brought up anything. She's just kind of been, um, putting herself out there as this trailblazer, but it's going to eventually catch up to her. You know, one thing about this internet, they gonna catch you when too many people feel like you're a fraud.
Well, that's sort of like Dr. Phil. He wasn't all that.
But he was a doctor, though. I didn't hear he wasn't. He might not have been the best, or maybe he didn't. But I didn't hear
Yeah,
he wasn't a doctor,
that's true.
right? So
That's true.
that's why I said sometimes it seems like in this day and age, negative information kind of gets you far because it grabs so many people's attention. Like I said, I really didn't know who she was until she got on there claiming to be a doctor. And I think people went to look at her background because, you know, the things that she was saying, I think a lot of people just think was a bit left and it didn't sound like things or the way a doctor would speak.
Yeah, I mean, most doctors are very happy to show you their degree.
They pay enough for it
Yeah, they worked very hard to have that piece of paper.
and cursing you out.
Hmm.
I wonder how many, you know, like, because she's claiming to be a doctor of psychology, from what I understand. I don't know how many of them curse you out.
You know, this is what I'm saying. That's why I was very curious to know what style, of therapy she was using.
Yeah,
Right? What was she? Was this just all cognitive? I talk to you, tell you, look, this is where you're going wrong in life, or is there a method? Is there a worksheet? Is it systematic?
right,
You know what I mean? Do you? How do you get to the root cause of a person's problem? You can't do that by berating them.
right. And it's unfortunate because, I mean, in this day and age, it's good that people of color have decided to try therapy. More people are open to it, you know, because it's always been kind of like a stigma attached to therapy that we don't usually utilize. And so I think that in the past years, it's been more positive light that's been shed on people of color to receive therapy, be open to different kinds of therapy, right? And I just think now there's just kind of, it's not a setback, but it's still something to caution people like, you know, how many quacks is out there, so to speak. And definitely nobody wants like somebody like that in their head.
Yeah, I'm just sending a little message right quick. Yeah,
No
yeah. So
problem.
we gonna open the lines up while you up here, and if anybody would like to come in and share their thoughts on therapy, on what they feel like they learned from this situation, or and also, please like, share, and subscribe. And please share the live. If you're watching right now, you will be doing a great service to us and you if you just share these lives. We really appreciate it. It helps us spread the content, it helps us spread the word, and it helps us grow the channel as well as the community because the things you think about and the things you share are important. Right. And as a community, we're able to get these ideals and these thoughts out there. And we're also able to help each other. Hopefully, in the chat, you guys either know each other or maybe you could make a new friend. So, this is all about growth and development. So, please like, share, and subscribe, and please share the live. But also, we're going to put the link down too. So, if you want to come up and talk about this with us, love to hear from you. Love to get some of your insights and your thoughts about it because, quite frankly, we find it very interesting. I find it very interesting because once again, I feel that in the media front, there's a little bit of a bias toward black women, right? And once again, we have this black woman who looks very powerful. She's very beautiful, right? We can tell she can speak better than what she's presenting, and when she needs to, she does, right? But once again, here we have her. Is she a fraud? Is she not a fraud? There's this big attack, and quite frankly, the way I, from my experience, is it gets turned into this black woman thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's that stigma there. And I'd like to discuss it. I like to dive a little bit into it because it affects how we look at therapy, right?
And if she had a good, if she was as credible as she is, she should have a PR person who would have been told her stop doing all these interviews on all these shows and put out a statement.
If she had a good PR person.
Yeah, because every show I've seen her defending this, she's very agitated. You know, so
Well, this once again, it makes me wonder how much. I'm not going to say she didn't study psychology, right? But we both have studied psychology. We both have an understanding of idiomotor responses, right? And how the body, like we know, you can look at somebody and you can tell if they are confident. If you can tell if their body posture is standoffish, you can tell if they're nervous. When you study these things and you get involved in that, you learn about that, right? So as someone who understands that, that seems to be one of the things you would be more conscious of.
right, right,
If you're standing there, you would be like, wait, I don't want to appear. I know that when I close myself off, it gives the appearance of defensiveness. This psychology 101.
yeah, that's basic. That's why I say, and she's at a doctoral level. She should be talking to people about how not to feel like that, or maybe channeling more energy on to other things about asking why they so fixed on it. Is there something in some way she presents? But I don't know. But I'm still learning about her. I didn't really know who she was. Because a couple of times I saw her, I just was like, I I wonder where are the black women that are more like the Maya Angelou's, right? Like the people who try to say things that are positive. We can uplift each other for towards change. Like, haven't we been demeaned and beat up enough? Like, I don't need you to get on here and tongue lash me any more than I've already been.
Well, yeah, I agree. I feel like, see, this brings me into like this diaspora of the, see, life coaching and therapy is just, I'm going to say some of the things that these guys say, but you can't hold me responsible for it because I'm not certified. This is just one man's life experience. And I'm going to offer that experience to you. That's the extreme difference in a life coach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if she could have came more from that perspective to me, it would have been a lot better for her than to come from the perspective of someone who say knows the DMS5, right, and is somehow well studied, that's always every year or so that they change that, they add to it. One of the things they recently add to it might blow your minds, guys, but they've called this a mental condition, nicotine.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So what the expansion of what has been considered a mental illness has grown greatly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like at some point it's like, where is the line, right? When it comes to the life coaching and therapy and stuff like that, and and what she's doing, in my opinion, is a bad look on all the people that actually are certified and have the clinical out and they're out there doing the good work for real.
Yeah.
It's like she coasted off their name and their authority.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering why she choose to use doctorate instead of just saying a life coach. They got a lot of really good life coaches out there. They're not claiming to have their doctorate in something. And it sounds like her topics are more life coach in topics, right? So yeah, I don't know.
I consider
Listen,
a
there's a
lot of
lot of
people
new
really,
things. Gambling is also in the DSM-5, which was
yup,
never in there before.
gambling is in the D. That's right. It's a mental disorder at this point, and it can get into what is that? Borderline behavioral disorders,
Yes,
you know. And so when you start telling somebody about themselves, that's a that's a pretty big assumption without a large set of data, right? And if you don't listen, right? If you don't really listen to what a person is saying to you and understand how to ask the right questions, right? You're never really going to get to the root cause of a problem.
Yeah, I don't. I just think she's just defensive as she is. I don't think you're ever going to get to the root of the problem because I think she's.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
No,
They
you
scared
good.
me. The way they start barking and running, I thought somebody was here.
Yeah, no, no, you good. I'm just doing this real quick, sending this out to somebody, and getting back into our, because this is a great topic in my opinion. Peach is opening up the lines for people to join in if they want to, and participate in this
Just good
conversation.
to hear about somebody else's opinion. This is just my opinion. This is nothing more than that. I'm not diagnosing her or anybody else. I just think it's very strange, that she would choose that. So I'll be interested in seeing how this unfolds. I never want to see a black woman fall like that if she really doesn't have it. Um, 'Cause it's gonna come forward because
I
it's
think if
like
she doesn't, and it goes, and everybody, they get out there and they do their little keyboard warrior homework, and they discover what they need to discover, right? I think.
what about any of her classmates?
Listen, I think it's going to be a win for her if she follows the WAC 100 playbook.
Oh, see, yeah, yeah. It might. It is a playbook behind it. It is a
I
playbook
don't
behind
know what version of chess she's playing,
it. Mm.
or is she gone straight super villain? You see what I'm saying? And her own hubris will be her downfall. Like, this is the hill you chose to die on. Like,
Yeah,
no,
I rather a better light be shed on us. Even as much as I didn't like Kevin Samuels, he didn't say he was Dr. Samuel.
no, and I know you didn't like Kevin Samuels. I liked a lot of things that he said. I did not agree with everything he said because I felt like a lot of what he was going into was very religious. I think that the healing in our community and in many other communities is not going to come from verbal abuse and cold hard truths, as they like to put it. I think there is a happy medium and middle. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that most people who are unhappy don't really truly desire to be unhappy. They just don't see a way out of it, right?
right.
And you can use that type of shock and awe to get a person to drop their critical mind and then give them your suggestion and they accept it, you know. But for the most part, I think when you speak to people a certain way and you have rapport with them and see how they got where they are and understand how real it is for them and how true it is for them, right? Then you can assist. Then you can offer solutions and give guidance that they will actually follow and use, right?
Mhm,
But
yeah,
but all of it stems from trauma, and
right,
and so you don't take a traumatized person and just re-traumatize them to make them healthy.
right, right.
You see
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And even when it comes to Kevin Samuels, where are all the men that he actually helped on a personal call outside of the ones we heard going online saying, I spoke with Kevin Samuels, my life was like this, and now look at my beautiful wife, my home, my car, my kids. It all worked just like Kevin said. Where are the testimonials?
right. Well, I think that's all, what they're saying to you is like when people. I mean, this internet it can be very dangerous.
Well,
'Cause
there are people that call in and have called back and said, "Hey, I listened to you and this worked out for me," right? And respectfully, that's cool. That's why I think what he does. I think whenever you establish authority over someone, right, a lot of what you say is going to work for them,
Mhm.
right? Because you're going to see exactly what you believe.
Right, and you want it to work, you're gonna see it.
The
You're gonna
placebo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
someone tells you, oh, to get girls, all you have to do is take this shower, put this particular cologne on, go outside exactly 2 o'clock, and every time it'll work. And if that makes sense in their mind, right, they're gonna go,
yeah,
oh, and they're gonna do it, and it's gonna work, and they're gonna come back and tell you. But then the next person who try it, who's maybe doubtful, is like, well, actually goes to apply it. What happened? It doesn't work for them. And
yeah,
that's where I think even with these life coaches, a lot of this comes in because they're really good at establishing the 3 pillars that are necessary to hypnotize and to take to plant suggestions or take control of anybody. You have to have 3 pillars to do it. You know what I mean? You
mhm,
have to have authority, and authority comes in many forms, right? We got authority, and for religion example, he has a special uniform. That's a form of authority. Special uniform. A doctor, special uniform, right? So as soon as we see this special uniform, we know this is the big guy. He's the one that knows. He's in charge. He's this. He's that, right? We have to have we always have to have the special authority through uniform, through environment. You go into a church, high ceilings. That's an overload on your mind. You know
right.
what I mean?
Okay, right,
Yeah, yeah. Bright windows, right? With various colors coming through. So it's a kaleidoscope of colors flashing in on you, and hard wooden benches that you sit on. There's a stage and a pew, and there's this room in the back that says "Do not enter."
right,
And you, oh, okay, there's a lot going on here. That's authority. So when he comes out to speak, you listen. The second thing that you have to have is called a paradigm, right? Or and that paradigm has to have 3 pieces. It has to have a doctrine, right? Like the Bible, like the DSM-5, and it has to has a translogic, and the paradigm has to be how you sell it, right? And then the third pillar is the overload. You have to make them feel something. You have to give them an experience.
Well, isn't all of that a part of the placebo effect?
Well, it's why you can use something. It's why I can't just give a person a random dude, here's a sugar pill. It's going to change. Here's this pill.
But
It's a
you, but
magic pill.
but some people do. That's the way they feel about some medications. They've shown that that's true. If a
Right.
person
And
really believes it,
but it ain't going to happen if a homeless man gave him the pill.
right? But he has everything. That's all the characteristics you talked about, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
person that's authority. They
Mm-hmm.
speak like they know what they're doing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And you have to have it's mostly you because you have this faith that you feel like it's going to work,
Well, they're gonna give you a feeling. They have to deliver an experience for you to buy it.
right?
So
Right. Right.
usually in that instance, they may show you if we talking about the pill thing, right? You at the doctor, they're gonna show you a little video, right? With all these people that I tried the Val
They
Cha
feel
Cha
good,
and it made me feel great. I got my life back. You see what I'm saying? And then he's gonna be like, now you can try this, right? Now we're pretty sure to work for you. It's worked for all of them, right?
right?
You feel your mind feeling the right. Oh, give me that pill right now. I already feel better.
Right.
Body
Right.
resists the effect,
Right.
right? But you can see that in everything, and I feel like she used those, right?
Mm,
What fell apart was her translogic, right? The story she gave, and translogic is any story or information that falls apart at the slightest bit of scrutiny.
yeah. That's where she fell apart.
Right? And so what fell apart? Her whole authority, her whole. If you don't
Yeah.
have all 3, you lose anyone, you lose control.
Right. 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 Right.
So I thought that was
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man,
You're gonna make me go deep. Now you're gonna make me go down the rabbit hole and start looking because I tell you, I just got to look at her background. Like, where did she come from? 'Cause I feel like I've really never heard of her before.
I never heard of her. And I couldn't tell you who she was from a hole in the wall before I started seeing the videos about her in the thing. And for some reason, apparently, all the good work she was doing didn't matter as much as whatever they're accusing her of.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't really know about her. I think the only thing I seen previous to this was when she talks. I think it was Cam Newton or the guy that wears the hat, and
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
I'm not sure what the. I think it's Cam Newton, if I'm not
yeah. It
mistaken.
is.
And she was talking to him, and the thing she was saying to him was,
Yeah. I
it
think
was wrong.
she was
Some of the
talking
things
about
she
him
said.
having so many children with so many different women and about it being damaging to the women that he's done it to. Something like that. You know.
and
And
and and and, and that's because he was making the argument that he had all these children from different women, and he took care of all the children that he had from these women,
right.
and that they were good and they were taken care of. And her whole point was that he was creating functional broken homes, essentially.
Mm, mm,
We're normalizing the father going in and out
mm.
and not being there for the child's full development by living in the house.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't disagree with that.
I know, but it sounds like a life coach.
Right. You know what I disagree with? I disagree with what she was calling the root cause. I disagree with how she got to her diagnoses, which she
Right.
really shouldn't be doing like that.
Right. Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
I mean, where did she get this from? Has she sat and talked to the mothers of kids? Have their behaviors displayed anything? Like, where is she basing this on? Or is just a
Does
personal
she have
opinion?
a large family support system? Is there a positive secondary role in the child's life
Right.
outside
Right.
of the primary? I mean, he's not there, the uncle or her brother or somebody that's always around
Right.
and a
Right.
male figure in that child's life on a more consistent basis. Does this
Right.
exist and is it positive?
Like
Because
she
there's this
doesn't know
somebody
just
from the
because
house
you gotta.
child comes out
Yeah. Yeah.
because he could be in the house and it could not be a good thing.
Right. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Especially if we're not looking at why he feels he needs to go have more than one home in the first place,
Mm.
right? And essentially, under him never coming to the realization that you've been dating your mother and you continue to date your mother until somewhere in your subconscious mind you work out whatever you thought the problem was and why she, she didn't love you the way you wanted to be loved, right? Why did she? That's what it always comes to. It don't matter if you're a man or a woman. It always comes back because our first love as a human is our mother, right? Mistrust and trust is formed in a person as a newborn.
Yeah. The child development is an interesting topic to study because you learn about so much about yourself when you think back on your childhood,
You know what I'm
being
saying? You might
raised
have a
and it
feeling of
comes from.
mistrust and don't know where it comes from. Why you
Yeah.
have a hard time because when you were little and you cried when you were hungry, somebody didn't just come and answer the call, right? There was some point where in that first, I only see 2 inches in front of me. When you called out, no one answered, and that pushed you into a place. Um, you feel what I'm saying? to of I can't trust anybody, right? Because the first things we experience when we are born, there's two things you the first two things you develop is is the fear of falling
Yeah.
and the fear of loud sounds.
Yeah.
Because you were literally in an insulated environment. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden, what happened? The water broke, right? You fall downward.
Mhm.
And when
Right.
you come out, air hits you, it's cold. You've been regulated in a nice 70 some temperature all day, every day. It's just wonderful. Now it's cold and it's loud.
Mhm.
You can't
Mhm.
see far in front of your face. And the
Yeah.
first thing you do is what? They hand you to your mother.
Mhm.
Rest your head on her chest, and you hear that familiar
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's interesting. Like she didn't use it as an opportunity to flex her chops, right? As somebody who understands how we get our problems, right? And maybe make him, oh wow, and bring him back. It was very directed to you have developed this habit of being a dog,
Right.
and
Right.
you're destroying black families, you're creating broken black families. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I don't think that's therapy.
Yeah. Well, it's accusatory.
You know,
Yeah.
but I was trying. I had somebody that wanted to come on. I was trying to send them uh, uh, the link.
What happened?
If you see me looking over at all weird. Oh wait, they there.
Oh, okay.
They backstage. You're gonna like this one. You could bring them in, Peach. You could bring them in. Oh shoot, Sly and the Family Stone jumped in my head right now. Hey, I want to just put in a comment if you've ever had those moments where songs randomly popped into your head, but it's from the old school. Well, let me see. Have you seen the lady that start doing with Jackson? She has a show when called in same type of woman wanting a man that's six figures. Oh yeah, there's another lady out there. I've happened to
Ooh.
see her in my feed. I don't
Mhm.
recall her name. I think her name uh, is what the person was saying, and they do the same thing like Kevin Samuel sort of did, where the woman calls into the show and she's like, "I want a man that's got."
Oh, is that the lady, Kendra, who does the dating show? And
Yeah,
music.
hey Peach, we got
Yeah.
somebody backstage too. So yeah, I think it's the dating show.
Yeah. No, I
Oh
it looked like somebody was coming on. But,
yeah, that's them.
oh, hey, TKJ.
Come on,
Hello?
you know
Hello?
who that is?
No.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh,
Yeah,
now I know who
can
it
you hear
is.
me?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, okay. I was on my phone. I was trying to get the link to on my computer so I could actually like use my camera with it. And so
If y'all don't know, that's my son right there.
I don't think they knew.
Yeah, they didn't know. He got the camera. I love it though. He's mysterious just like his dad. So you know,
I
for me,
see. I
I
see.
wasn't
anytime the
I
trying
look.
to be.
camera,
I was trying to get my camera. We're
Dang.
actually
So you.
wearing a similar outfit. Uh I thought it was interesting. And this is the first time I'm seeing you today.
oh
I
yeah,
normally
you know
don't
how
wear
we do.
my like white dress button up shirts, and I didn't know you were streaming today too. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, I guess I wore the right outfit.
Well, listen. I don't have the same outfit on, but I think we got the same colors.
We got the same color scheme going. Nobody knew what nobody was wearing when they got dressed today.
Hello?
That's called family connection. So,
That's
hey,
funny.
Khalid, did you hear about this,
Hello?
Doctor? Hello. Let's see if his phone is still working. Can you hear me?
The same outfit on, but I think we got the same colors.
Oh,
Hello?
you gotta cut your you gotta cut off your
Nobody knew what
YouTube.
nobody
You
was
gotta turn
wearing
it
when they
off.
got dressed. Uh-oh. I
I
think we
think
lost him.
nah, he was double streaming by accident. You know where you have one open when you're doing the thing, so it was like he was listening while he was on the thing. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
come on back when you get back in here, man.
So I think that is if it's the same person, I think it's that lady named Kendra, and she's another one, but at least she's not claiming to be a doctor. She's just like a, I guess I don't I don't know so much is it about her or the people that call in that's looking for these expectations and it doesn't what they say the math isn't mathing.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Uh, I think that it's a very materialistic approach.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? It's very like no, you can't have this person because this, that, and the third, right? And there's this wanting them to sort of accept this reality, right? And it seems that listen, by the stats, right? You have missed that window, or by the stats, you don't qualify for that, or what have you. You know?
yeah, I mean, it's not that you can't meet a six-figure man. You don't know if he might be, but I think it's also just in like presentation so much rather than a request for this desire. It's just like how are you presenting yourself, right? I mean, I don't think too many people go out there to just give away their money, but how are you presenting yourself to even to bring yourself to a level of that, right? Because there's a lot of people sought after a person of that, character
Mm-mm,
or status, so to speak. Oh, so what are you bringing to the table that's going to make you even desired by somebody like that, right?
mm-hmm. Well, I think they feel like because they're them,
Okay.
But
I just would like to say, well, what has that done for you so far?
what it seems to you back,
Maybe
man.
it's back.
Oh, I'm back.
Hey,
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I actually somebody tried to call me back on Instagram, I think at the same time as I was connecting in the to the stream. And then for some
oh,
reason, like I could hear you guys, or no, I mean I couldn't hear you guys, but I guess you could still hear me because I could hear me randomly going hello.
Yeah,
you got stuck in the back doors of
of the internet.
Restream. You was in the back doors.
Oh,
SCP 10,
I get it. Wait, it just took a second.
SBC 10, man. Listen, did you hear about this Dr. Cheryl Bryant situation with the lady? I'm just curious. If not, we gonna move on.
I didn't. I was actually just looking it up when I was listening it to you guys talk about it. This is my
Hmm.
first time hearing anything about it. I have no idea who she is.
Yeah,
Did you see it? Did you
he
see
is.
it?
That doesn't come up on his algorithm.
Yeah, I can see why not.
Somebody's wrote. I can't see it. My screen is so tiny.
It says doctors go with nurses, police, and lawyers because they
But
are all in similar groups. You have to
absolutely,
be in those groups to even meet those type of men.
I agree. I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
Hmm.
I'm 100% on board. And so what it led to was Basically, Talib, we were talking about this lady who claimed to be a doctor of psychology and a therapist, but her credentials are
Are
not,
being questioned.
they're in question.
Okay.
And she comes across sort of like Kevin Samuels, but a woman style. But
Mm.
I would say the way a woman would think she is perceiving Kevin Samuels to be
Oh, okay. Okay.
very harsh, you know,
Yeah.
very rude. But what we were talking about was because she's a therapist and because it created so much buzz, and now you have all these different shows and things popping up with women giving advice to other women on how to secure a six-figure man.
And I don't even think she has a man that's making six figures. The person we're talking about.
Well, I think she's dating a woman actually.
She is?
Don't quote me on that. You could Google it to find out.
Or maybe we're not talking about the same person, or are we?
Sunchild 51 said, "Hey Mo Money."
More
Hey,
money.
hey, who's Sunshine? That sounds like somebody I would know.
It does, doesn't it?
Hey.
Hey, stay to the shadows. So, so Tully, what I was talking about was therapy, right? And
Right.
I was really getting ready to get into hypnotherapy and what's different about it, you know. And also, the second hour is going to be talking about manifestation and the power of the mind. So I think it's really good you came up because you have your own experiences.
Oh, yes. I was just gonna say that that's my next class. That's my next class.
So this is the part I get to listen. So
Oh
damn.
no, because you have your experience too, Moya.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? We did the power of mind experiment a couple years ago,
mm,
and you found the exact house you was looking for
mm,
in your head first.
yeah, yeah,
You know, and everybody on this call, on this live right now, actively practice some form of meditation and mental well-being. You know,
yeah.
so you definitely have room to chime in. But I'm gonna let Talib talk a little too. I would love to hear what he has to say because I was talking about I was getting ready. I wanted to talk about the different differences between traditional therapy and hypnotherapy. You there,
Oh,
man?
okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm here. I didn't know if you wanted me to start talking about it or if you were gonna open it up more into that.
I can if you want.
Sure. Yeah, I could just segue off of you or go into it off of that because I was about to just start going. I love hypnotherapy. I feel like, in my personal opinion, that's actually what most people are expecting to get when they go to therapy. Um, Maybe a little more so, not well, no, because you can still do this in hypnotherapy. So in my mind, or well, the way most people look at therapy, they think you're going to go down there. Well, not think, you usually do. You sit down with somebody, you talk about whatever story it is that you're telling yourself that is your life. It could not be happening now, it could be something that happened to you 15 years ago, whatever it is that's you feel like you're holding on to or you got to work through, and you sit down and you relive it and you talk about it and you have these emotional experiences attached to them because you're reliving the experiences, and then you just keep doing that and over until you feel like you've gotten over your problem, which is how I looked at regular conventional therapy before. Hypnotherapy, I feel, is what more people actually would be comfortable doing or open to, because it's everything therapy is without requiring you to sit there and talk about what or reliving your experiences and just listing down everything that's ever happened to you. You can do that if something's on your mind. If you want to talk at first, you can. But a lot of what hypnotherapy is, it's a lot of modalities that allow you to actually talk to that inner self, that inner voice inside of you that's actually running these programs and beliefs that you're still operating off of, but not at a conscious level. So all it does is it gives the power back to you. In my mind, the hypnotherapist isn't curing you. They're not fixing anything in you. All they're doing is being there and asking you for permission to allow you to let them to work with your mind to help you build new beliefs and positive suggestions in your life that will serve you in a better way, not just sitting there and going over something and just reliving certain moments in your life and still feeling like you're experiencing it, though, if that made sense.
That's super power. Hey man, bravo, bravo. I agree 100%. I think I'm not against therapy. I think there's some very good uses to cognitive behavioral therapy. I think there's like when I do the cognitive thing, I like the Paris window. I like doing things now like with the Sedona method, which is very cognitive. You don't have to go to sleep or any of that. You know, but I find like with regular therapy, it can work because over time you get to work things out, but it's a process that could be very slow, very painful, right? Because you're
Right.
dealing with it still on a very conscious level, right? And with hypnotherapy, we can go right to the issue in your mind, in a state when you are most receptive to accepting those suggestions. Most importantly, you get to bypass your critical mind. That makes the mind that says, "Oh no, this is who we are. This is the stuff we like." There's a reason you just won't change. There's a reason your name is not. Somebody can't just come along and tell you your name is not your name. It's because you have a critical mind that protects everything in that subconscious mind. That's the belief of who you are. And who are you? You're just a set of reactions and experiences that you've repeated over time, and you've accepted that as who you are. Like when you can able to take a moment and step outside of that, the belief of that's who I am, you begin to see from a different perspective. And when you can change your perspective, then you can change what's happening and what you think is happening. It's called reframing, and that's one of the beautiful things about when you're dealing with hypnotherapy. It's a lot of reframing and disassociating, right? You have a close association to your problems, right? And so you neurologically respond to them because there's a lot of emotion, right? But when we can disassociate you from what you're feeling right now and bring it back here, and then just get it right out the frame, and now it's just gone, and then we just anchor it being gone, and guess what? Now it's gone. The mind don't know what's real and fake. And the beautiful thing about it is your mind works in images and symbols,
Right.
right? And hypnosis directly works with imagery and symbols. So it's a powerful way to make substantial changes in a shorter duration without the painful, agonizing feeling of having to relive everything without feeling you have control about what you're feeling. Because all those feelings you feel, it's just a program. You don't have any connection to it because your conscious mind doesn't need it. It doesn't require it for you to have a conscious experience, right? And the only way we get that mind to drop is when we go to sleep, when we rest, when our bodies get in a deep. You can't heal yourself if you don't go to sleep. You can take all the medicine you want. That medicine ain't really gonna kick in until you go to sleep and your body can do what it does because it's relaxed and it feels safe enough to do what it does. And a lot of our issues and mental problems coming from the fact we don't feel safe. We're either thinking about what's going to happen to us or we're thinking about what has happened to us. So a lot of our bodies do not feel safe. And that's a contradiction. If in your head you're saying everything's good, life is good, I'm going to be better, I'm going to be rich, all this is going to happen. But your body is saying, we poor, I don't know where the next meal is coming from. It's a contradiction. And hypnotherapy allows you to take both of those minds and give them the same goal. And that's why I think it's better. Not better, but I think as you're going to see, you're going to find a lot more people are going to start going to hypnotherapists. It's a reason it's been around for as long as it has. And a little fun fact, before there was anesthesia, They used hypnosis.
Mm, interesting.
You know what I mean? Because what you call pain is a what? Condition what? Response.
Mhm.
If I tell them,
Right.
if you could communicate to yourself that that signal is actually you on a beach, would it hurt?
I don't know. I
No,
don't want to try it either.
no, no. I'm not asking anybody to go. This is not this is not jackass, right? I'm not asking anybody to hypnotize themselves and then drill a hole in their forehead. See if they feel it.
I understand. I understand.
I'm just saying that that's how powerful the mind is. It's
Yeah,
extremely powerful, right? And you know it because your heart is beating, you're regulating blood flow right now, you're regulating body temperature,
you're breathing, don't you? You don't even have to think about it.
you're breathing, but even more internal things like you're making new cells right now. Cells are dying, new cells are being born right
Mm,
in this moment, but you are unconscious of any of it,
right.
right? So the mind is super powerful,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you understand what brings things into existence of what you call your reality, then you can utilize that better to create your reality. And it's really just a byproduct of our mind, you know? What you think, Talib?
About sorry, I was checking Ren stitches really quick. About your the last thing you just said or
Overall,
overall? Oh no, overall I completely agree with that. I mean, I feel like this whole topic of hypnotherapy and just starting this journey and even going to learn this for myself has completely changed my life. Like just the beginning process of this, I feel like when I started my sessions now, I've gotten through certain things that I felt were holding me back, certain beliefs or statements I said to myself that I genuinely felt like I could never actually get through, or that was just something wrong with me. Uh I didn't find any of those answers, or well, I didn't realize I already had those answers until I started going through hypnotherapy. So I love this.
yeah, and yeah, that's hypnotherapy is great. But if anybody's out there want to, please come up, please share. You always can come up and still share about the what you feel like you learned from the Cheryl Bryant incident. Because we really want to talk a little more about this therapy, man, and how it's affecting people and what people are now starting to think. It's a growing industry right now. It's I think it's like the fifth largest growing industry in the world right now.
Yeah.
And
And they say it's important for people of color to get into it because we come from a different place sometimes with things where we can actually, relate to more people of like minds and skin complexion to help them through this. So they are encouraging more men to become involved with therapy
yeah, and that's
and
one of
become
the
therapists.
reasons
Yeah.
I'm out there trying, building this as a business and doing pro bono and helping people because I want to demystify a lot of it for people,
Right.
and and let them know that like no, this can be very useful. It can be very helpful, uh, especially I think hypnotherapy is for people that feel like, man, I tried everything. Like I really want to do this, but I've tried everything and it didn't work.
Yeah. They have to be open to it.
Right.
Yeah,
It's definitely something you have to be open to.
it's not one of those things where like, hey, I prove to me this works.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that real that kind of thing. It's a thing about wanting to make change, right?
Yeah,
Because if
because people also think, because TV always gives us these grandiose ideas, right? And usually they've shown people who are into hypnotherapy as to getting into people's minds and and making them do stuff, or so people get kind of weary about people going into their head and what they're going to do.
Yeah, and the really cool thing is that that's all not true, right? And as everyone here has experienced it, we can tell you that no, you're very aware, you're very conscious. You don't do things that you don't want to do. That's
Right.
still your subconscious mind still has the critical mind there. It's still there going to protect everything you fully believe. You see what I'm saying? You're not asleep. It initially was called, you remember Talib?
For
Yeah,
hypnosis.
before it was called that.
Um, oh my gosh,
I
don't tell
want,
me.
it starts with an
Ah,
M. There you go.
mesmerism. Thank you.
There you go. By a
It's
man named Franz
called
Mesmer,
mesmerism.
right? And it was James Braid that coined the term hypnotherapy. And it
Mm,
was named after the
Right,
Greek god of sleep. But this was really before they truly understand that people weren't asleep in hypnosis, right? That they just appeared in a state akin to sleep. But
right,
they were still conscious and aware, right? But their body was in a state of sleep, meaning the body had completely relaxed as if it was sleeping, right? Which meant that when people was given suggestions at this point, they would readily and easily accept it, right? Especially if it was something that they wanted, you know. And I think
right,
that's one of the most powerful aspects of it is that when you do that, and oh my goodness, it really does work because you can't make somebody do it. It's a do with, not a do to process, you know. So
right,
yeah, uh, you cannot just be. First of all, the reason you can't just be hypnotized is because you already hypnotized. The world around you is constantly hypnotizing you, and
oh, mm,
and how does that happen? They overload you,
right.
right? Then what? Go ahead, Talib.
Oh, it disorganize your critical mind or your inhibitory process, which is just that conscious part of you that he was talking about. That's saying uh uh anybody can't just come and tell you something without your conscious mind going to analyze it, or saying no, or adding a retard to it, so
Mm-hmm.
to speak.
Mm-hmm. And then once you hit the overload, then what happens? They get what?
So once you've been overloaded, and they bypass your critical mind, or they disorganize your critical mind, it triggers a state or a fight or flight response in the body. Which anytime that happens, if you start to study hypnotherapy, you'll find that once that happens, it triggers or it creates a state, a hypersuggestible state, which is just the state that means you're most suggestible to anything somebody can put into you, whatever you're watching, listening to. And we go into these trances, so to speak, or states every day. If you listen to music, if you watch TV, you're watching a movie, you have gone into a hyper suggestible state at some point, and you weren't aware of it consciously, but you were still aware, you were still up, you were still watching the movie, or receiving whatever it is that was being suggested to you. And then after that, uh well, I just kind of started talking about it. So once you get into a hyper suggestible state, this allows access to your subconscious mind, which is what I was just saying. You're still up, you're still conscious, but now we've bypassed that part that is starting to filter things out, that's coming through, that's questioning things. If somebody gave you a suggestion, hey, wouldn't it be great to just run through the streets naked? If you want to think about something funny in the most simplest way. Uh
Or buy my product,
uh right.
right? Or Geico doing some extreme thing, and then all of a sudden you can save 15% on Geico, and then it just
Right.
ends. Geico. You see what I'm
Geico.
saying? It's not
But
really
throughout
shock
that
and
whole
awe.
commercial, they played a jingle for
Yeah.
you. They put you into a trance.
And then that gives you the jingle becomes your affirmation.
Right.
Right?
And then now, whenever you hear that, you start to associate that with savings because that was the suggestion put into your mind when all of these elements were being played at the same time and you were being hypnotized and sitting there in a suggestible state, taking that in subconsciously. Consciously, if someone stopped you and tapped on the shoulder and then asked you quite like, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake. Hey, what were you just watching there? You probably wouldn't be able to say exactly word for word what you just watched, but the feeling and the suggestion of what was put into you is still there.
Bingo.
And that's the whole point of hypnotherapy when you start taking that idea and realizing, hey, I can bypass my that part of my mind that's going, I don't know, well, I have this problem and this is where this came from, and you start to analyze things. This is what this is used for. You can bypass that and just go straight to the subconscious mind and now think about, instead of putting in weird advertising messages or negative thoughts and beliefs, what if we just use this tool to put in positive suggestions and things that actually serve you on a more direct level, just talking straight to your subconscious mind, not that conscious part of you that's questions everything because that's its job. I know for me personally, for a long time I would think there was something wrong with me. Like, why does that part always keep coming in? I consciously know that this is not serving me, but I'm still doing it and entertaining it.
Hmm.
That's its job. You wouldn't be able to experience this world on a conscious level if you didn't have that, because anybody could just tell you anything then.
Exactly. And when you look at that, that makes you begin to realize, or maybe you begin to think, and you can allow yourself to become aware of the fact that how much of what you think is happening to you is your own thoughts. How much of what you believe of
Right.
it is you. And how much of it, of the things happening to you, have come from your state of hypnosis, from being suggested to by companies, government, corporations, influencers, right? And this goes back to our initial talking point too, with the Cheryl Bryant, you know. And when you put someone in this
Mm.
state and then you push all this information into their head, you're giving them a lot of suggestions. They consciously don't realize it. So what does it become? Their state. Their state, and that
Right.
affects their behavior. And that behavior becomes what we see demonstrated from them,
Right.
right? And so when you understand that, you sort of start to see why we got certain demographics of people behaving in certain manners without me having to
Yeah.
single any one person or group out, you know. So I think that if
Mhm.
you like, my purpose for it is to use the same tool that was used against you for you, and even teach you how to use it for yourself, right? Because the beautiful thing about hypnotherapy, you can also learn self hypnosis with a true certified hypnotherapist. They're gonna teach you how to do this yourself as well, right? And there are some extreme advantages to, and I personally find that most people who say they're meditating are just doing a self hypnosis, right? And some of them
Mhm.
are good, and some of them are not as good as the others. That's my personal opinion on that. But it's still connected to that world of hypnotherapy, and you know, I really wanted to I really too wanted to get Peach's opinion on what she was feeling about the Cheryl Bryant. She had some words for it too, you know, and like, I'm really glad that everybody's showing up, and shout out to the chat. I want to thank everybody for joining us and joining in. And if you have any questions or would like to ask anything, please leave just write it down in the chat below, and it'll come up, and I'll do my best to answer it. All right. So Moya's going to log out. Moya, I want to thank you for joining us. Thanks for staying up for the first hour and really, like, talking with me and the people. I appreciate it. I'm going to definitely get her back on again. And yeah, but for the second hour, I got TKJ, which is,
Mm.
my son, and he's awesome. And he also is in school for hypnotherapy right now. And he's also someone that's undergone it. And also, you know, I wanted to share some things about manifesting in the second hour and what you could do to manifest some of the things you want in this world. And I'm really glad my son ended up showing up, because there's some things that he has his own testimony to that can be proven. And well, not proven, but he has his own experiences from this him experimenting with these things that I know he would be more than happy to share, because they're really incredible and they happen to him. But one thing I like to not I don't really stress anything, but one of the things I like to share is this, right? The matrix, because people like to say we in assimilation, the matrix. I'm here to tell you, yeah and no, right? The matrix is an assimilation of code, right? It is consciousness expressing itself through stories.
Mm.
The matrix is stories. Now, you have not been in control of writing your story because you didn't even know you were. But the matrix is stories. Now, how do I know this? One is I will give you a testable thing you could do to just show you how powerful this is in your mind. And you can read Transurfing if you like to look into that. That's one. And two is nobody can go back to the beginning of time and show you nothing. The Big Bang
Right.
is a story. Oh, no, it's a story. They took data from something they observed that they gave it a name, which means it comes from the mind. It's them observing something, right?
Mm.
But there is nothing there. No one can go there to that point. No one can actually give you this there and say, look, you see that? This is a 15 billion years old, right? How do we date a particle, right? Because energy can't be created or destroyed. Do you understand where I'm going? Which means it's eternal, which means it's infinite, which means it never was created. It was always just here. Right. So
Right.
everything's a story. Man being on Earth, you don't know how you got here. You was born, and you was told about your family, and you know that they was born because they told you they was born, right? And you've seen the process, so now you convince everybody here that in your conscious field of understanding was born, right? But you can't go back 100,000 years. You could grab some bones out of the ground. What? You understand what I'm saying? It's all a story.
Right.
These stories become reality because we see how perception, through you studying and learning hypnotherapy, of learning the NLP and psychology, you understand now that your perception is really just a distortion. You're not even really living in reality.
Right. Yeah. It actually, when you start looking at NLP, when you brought that up, it actually one of the first thing it teaches you is that how you start interacting and how you even take in the world around you and these experiences. And the first thing it says is you're actually not you don't experience we don't experience our events or reality. The when we go out to an event or something and have an experience, you're not experiencing the event. You're experiencing the perception in your mind of the event. So you're never actually living and experiencing something 100% to what the event was. Just that's what happened. Even when you go down to your memory and thinking about things, and you just went outside, you went to the bar, you had a nice time, and you came back, and then you started thinking about whatever had happened that night. You're not thinking about the event, you're thinking about the perception of what that event was to you, how it was perceived
through
to
your
you.
five senses and your emotional resonance to it,
Right.
right? So the Matrix is just stories from the Big Bang to man being on a planet to 100 million years ago, the Galactic Federation set up camp, right? Now, how can I prove it? Well, all you have to do is rewrite the story. What? How you will just easy? All you have to do is use your mind and your imagination, and you're gonna imagine whatever the person or people are doing, they do exactly what you want, and then you go into that situation with the intention of them doing it, just as if it really is that way. They will do exactly what you want. Now, if you want instant results, here's what you do. The next time you're in a difficult situation, or it's an argument, or whatever it is, and then I'll let my son go ahead and give his example of this. All you have to do is not
uh
say what the script has written for you. There's a script, and that script is your normal response to that situation. That's your script. Now, you can break the script by doing something as simply as going good googly moogly. You can literally just look down and say, sometimes it dawns on me that all humans have toes. Really. All you have to do is not do what the script asks. You don't have to say a lot of words. You don't have to make a lot of action. You just need to divert from the script. You will watch, and that's about between 2 and 5 seconds. There'll be a window where everything will freeze. Just the matrix resetting itself. Like, oh, the script's not. And now in that window, you get to write the script right there. Just be different and just play it out the way you wanted it to go, and you'll see everybody will do it. Now, Tali, go ahead, give me your experience about that.
yeah, I figured the okay, the first time he shared this with me. And I've always been a strong believer, and my dad does this in a specific. He did this with me this way because he knows how I am. I like things that, and he likes to give people tools that you can go out and just use this in the moment. You want to test this for yourself. You don't just take my word for it. I used to have a group. I'm a big gamer. I'm on Discord a lot with my friends,
Hey, give him
and
your Discord because he is a. My son has a business, another business as well, where he teaches FPS and uh, fighter games. So and competitively. So let's say you want to get good at whatever FPS shooter, you know, uh, you could hit him up on Discord, and for a very reasonable amount, he'll sit with you, walk you through the techniques. He'll actually coach you through some games. What else do you give him, Talib?
uh, that was pretty much it for now. I mean,
Didn't
well,
you say
not
you give
it.
him a
Like
list or
I
something with the DS?
yeah, for specifically for fighting games, I have like whole charts of frame data and actual like gameplay strategy and guides, like specifically for each character you're playing. Basically, all of the stuff you should do if you want to actually have all of the knowledge and play at the, so to speak, highest level in a fighting game. I just put that all down in a PDF and actually have it there for you and give it to you. Because if you get into these games too, you'll end up looking this up online anyway. Like the frame data, like the number nerd side of the part of it,
Oh,
so to
give me a
speak.
little bit of nerd, man.
Um,
Explain some of that. What do you mean frame data?
so just like every move and everything in a fighting game has a hitbox attached to it, which just means this area, there's an area cut out that's surrounding this limb or this part that interacts as or counts as a interaction. And even if your character physically uh isn't touching you, if the outline of their hitbox, whatever it is, how it was coded into the game, is interacting with another character's hitbox, it will still count as a hit. So that's how you get interactions in fighting games where you're like, hey man, that dude didn't hit me, or that looked like, what the heck's going on? He wasn't even standing anywhere near me, and I tried to press a button and he hit me first. And I don't know what's going on. A lot of new players will experience that, but a lot of games don't teach you what a hitbox is, and that frame data is what's dictating or what allows you to even have the type of pressure you have in fighting games. So if you want to be a person who feels like, oh dude, this guy's just pressing buttons on me, he's nonstop mauling me, I can't get him off of me, it seems like everything he does, I just can't beat him to it. That's because they're using their frame data in a way where the lower your frame data is, it just means the faster your next move will come out. So if your light punch is 7 frames, and then the next punch you throw out, if it's anywhere under 7 frames or under, it'll come out faster. And so if you throw out a 7 frame button and another person throws out, let's say, a 12 frame button, then the 7 frame will always beat 12. So you have to know your frame data on your character buttons to even
Really get the advantage.
to yeah, thank you, to get the advantage pressure wise or offensively, and not feel like you're just sitting there blocking or somebody is always beating you to a button. But a lot of new players don't know that. So that's the part I'll do for my business. I literally, because I love all of that stuff and I've done it while learning these games. I have all of that written down and saved in files anyway.
What's your Discord again?
Instead of my Discord is just my name, to leave Kearns right now. I have to change it again for if you've ever played Heavy Rain, then you'll know this reference. But my Discord under my name is Talib Kearns, and then the tag is Norman Jaden. But yeah, and Souls games, like Souls games, FPS, and fighting games, I mainly do. Especially like if you love Dark Souls games, I didn't know people actually paid people to coach them in those games. Um, and then when I found that, I was like, I might as well do that because I have mastered every single Souls game that is
I
in
witnessed that. So
existence.
he's platinum all. That's a fact. Yeah.
I, I I think the only thing I haven't done with those games is speed run them, and that's only because I just don't want to do that to myself with Souls games. I've tortured myself enough in regular playthroughs and stuff.
So I just wanted to promote your business a little bit. One of your business. He's also uh, working on becoming a hypnotherapist himself. So pretty soon, for the younger generation out there, um, you'll definitely have someone in your age bracket that can really relate to you and give it to you.
Oh yes, I'm even thinking about like bringing this hypnotherapy to like the FGC or the fighting game community with fighting game tournaments, because that's what I really want to uh go farther
Mhm.
with in the gaming industry. I just I have too much skill and potential there to not be putting myself out there at this point, tournament wise with
Well,
fighting games.
you've won
But
good
a lot of
tournaments, so
sports.
it's not like
Uh,
you got some under your belt. But before we go,
oh yes, I do. I do always talk about it like that. I haven't done it. I already have gone to tournaments and placed in high positions in fighting
yeah,
games.
yeah,
So
that's a fact. So before we go too far, go ahead and explain your story and how you tested this matrix theory out for yourself.
yes. Okay, because I always get very excited about this. So the night my father actually told me about this, I was already on Discord with my friends, playing Valorant. If you know it, you know it. And I came back up after he told me what to do, and he's like, "You want instant results? Just say what you don't normally say. Break the script. It doesn't have to be something super crazy and outlandish, but just something that you wouldn't normally say, and then don't say anything and watch as the entire it will just break. It'll like be a hard reset. You might even hear them go completely silent. This is him telling me this before I went to test it. So I walked upstairs. I get back on the Discord. I had a problem in my Discord. My friends are constantly arguing with each other like every time we play. I don't like confrontation. I don't even understand why it's going here after time we're on a video game, but whatever. So I wanted to use this as a ways like you want to change your friends in your group. You want to shift into another reality where they don't argue ever. I walk back upstairs. Lo and behold, they're arguing again. I sit back down and I waited for my moment. I'm sitting there. I'm thinking about, well, what do I say? Or let me not overthink it. Just what would I not normally say? And I looked at the time and I'm like, yeah, guys, my dog usually gets walked at 10 o'clock because she's a dog and she has to pee. It's a good thing she went out. And 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 for a solid, I mean like a hard, it had to have been at least a minute. No one said anything. It was like everyone's brains just got rattled. And the first thing my friend Jose says right after the silence is, what were we talking about? Like, and, and from that moment on, like we started all laughing afterwards. No one could remember. It was like I just hypnotized them or something. I didn't. But they just hit the reset button. They couldn't remember what they were arguing about, and from that day forward, they have never had a single argument over a video game or while I was on the Discord call with them since then. And absolutely no one has pointed it out, though. No one ever said, hey, remember that time? Sleep? They weren't even aware of it. It was like I quite literally just hit the reset button and went into another reality where these guys weren't screaming at each other or yelling at each other. And it worked so much that it didn't even go, well, how much do you want them to stop arguing? No, it just said no arguing. Now it just shifted completely. I'm still in bewilderment every time I talk about that because it was something that I just you could use this in the moment instantly and it works. Like, and to this day they still don't argue with each other. It actually has, yeah, I'll leave it at that. They don't argue with each other. And that's all I wanted. So I got what I
It
wanted.
works. It actually works. It's a script. It's a, you. First of all, there's three things your brain does to give you what you call reality: distorts, deletes, generalizes. So whatever becomes your
Hmm.
focus will become the roadmap in your head that you're following. It's like looking at your GPS and using it while you're there at this place you're trying to go to. You never look at the place you're going to. You just keep going where you are on the GPS. You never look at the road in front of you. That's how a lot of us are living our reality, you know. So when you get into the what is the matrix, of course Hollywood wants to sell us to us like this thing where we, I don't know, they sell it in such a way that it's almost unbelievable, you know. And Stephanie said, "You create your own reality, but yes, do something you've never done, get something you've never got."
I was just reading that. I was like, yes, that actually reminded me of a it started making me think about the pain pleasure principle. And how a lot of us will consciously be in that headspace of do something you've never done, get something you never got. But sometimes the problem with people or people can feel in their lives is that'll start conflicting with a known association that is not necessarily serving them in the moment right now currently, but because the way your mind works and what is known to you is considered pleasurable and what is unknown to you or unfamiliar is considered painful, your subconscious mind will avoid routes that will experience the unknown or pain because it's not familiar with it. But that is absolutely right. Do something you never done and you'll get something you never got.
That is such a wonderful statement. I agree with it wholeheartedly. You know, it's one of the the powers of, in my opinion, one of the amazing what would you say, offerings of NLP. You know,
Right.
because doing something different can be, like you see, like you just so flawlessly explained, can be very difficult for individuals because of the story they tell themselves. What do you think they say to themselves? I did something different. It didn't work.
Right.
Right? And that's that homeostasis that wants to be regulated to our
Right.
familiar, to our comfort. Right? So this technique we showed you with the matrix will not go wrong. Just can't. Because you are the only one perceiving being you as you. I can perceive you being wherever you are from where you are as me, but never as you.
Right.
Right? And the whole world of man is from, and woman. I don't want to, you know, the whole world of the human race is from the imagination. Right? And our minds are always going,
Hmm.
they're always working, and it's always flexing. Right? To maintain and regulate that homeostasis. And you have something called a reticular activating system, and it sparks instantly. It's the reason you get what you want. See, the reticular, and you guys can look this up, reticular activating system. It's a part of your mind. When you get something and all of a sudden everybody else has it too, I'm somewhat of a, I was a sneakerhead. Okay. And my example would be, whenever I get a new pair of sneakers, I'm thinking, I got them, nobody else got them like that yet. All of a sudden, everybody got them on their feet. Right? That's the reticular activating system. Once it gets tuned to something, it's going to do everything to find that data in the information field that's in front of you.
Right. It's also why you can be in a crowded place and some you can slightly hear your name and focus in on kind of where it's coming
Mm-hmm.
from immediately.
You know, and your mind could even put together where they could be.
Right. You didn't see them. You just kind of heard your name, and the mind immediately focuses on it and fills in the rest.
Right? And that's how we live in our life. So who's filling in our gaps? Who's giving us that suggestion? And when you begin to maybe ask yourself that question and realize the things you're listening to, the things you're constantly watching and absorbing, even on your personal time, you're going to realize a little bit why you get triggered so much. Right? When maybe you haven't been able to move past some of the things you want to move past, you'll start to realize that in my subconscious mind, this is this, it's got me, this is safe. Right? Be it, be it
Right.
overweight, right? Being, being poor, right? Being in an unhappy relationship, being single, unhappy, right? Somewhere along the line, the mind got that this was the safest place to be because we know it, right?
Right.
Because we all have a tendency to self-soothe. Usually, when something bad happens, when a little kid gets a whooping, what do? Do they go back outside and just chill and play? No, they run and they lay in their room, right? and they lay on the
Mm-hmm.
pillow and cover their head and grab the blanket and they cry and they go, "Why does he hate me? Why did they do this to me?" Oh, right? What's this?
Mm-hmm.
What's this?
Comforting,
Hmm.
soothing.
Now, when somebody does something to them, what do? They run to their room or they run to their apartment. And they don't go out, and they may sit around and do something like this every now and then. And you see what I'm saying? Not realizing that they
Mm-hmm.
have this thing that's running in the back of their mind that, hey, whenever something like this happens to us, the best course of action for us to take is to go here. And what
Right.
do you mean go over there and do this different thing? That I don't know what's going to happen. Remember last time we tried something? It was terrible. You know what I mean? So lining those
Mm-hmm.
two things up. And yo, first of all, we're running out of time on this one. The 2 hours that it came up and went so fast. It's been an awesome conversation. Please leave a one in the chat if you've enjoyed the show thus far. Just let me know that you've enjoyed it. Uh, um, I want to thank everybody for joining us and coming on and taking this time to hear our thoughts and opinions, and even the people that came up to share, like my sis, my son coming up to share. This is all wonderful. And I will leave you with the easiest thing you can do to change what is happening for you. Become aware of your language.
Mm, yes.
How do we become aware of our language? We don't have to overanalyze and sit there and try to critique what we're saying. We must ask ourselves this simple question: is what I'm saying in service to me, or does it make me a victim? And if you find that the words you're getting ready to speak make you a victim, take a deep breath, hold it, and breathe out all the air. All. And then notice what thoughts come to say. And you'll find that those words will be of service to you. And what I'm going to leave you on the show with is, Talib, you know this very well. I'm just going to show you something that you can do, as I always do at every show, give you something you can try and do yourself. So, what I'm going to share with you is called emotional freedom tapping, EFT.
Mm,
This is a 5,000-year-old really practice that was brought back into light later in the late 80s, actually, 1970s, 80s. But it's a system of tapping on meridians and chi points while making certain statements and declarations that causes those blocked channels to release. So what I would ask is, one is you cannot tap on yourself if you are driving a car on all these points. So please come back to this video if you're operating heavy machinery, driving a car, cooking food in the kitchen, or doing anything else that requires your attention. But if you are not, you can give this a try. So if you have any, let's just say, because this has been trying times for everybody, especially financially, right? Let's just say check on a scale of 1 to 10 where your anxiety and worry is at right now. And if I could have anybody just go ahead and put in the chat what that number is for you, that'd be great. If not, and you just want to tap, that's wonderful too. And tune in tomorrow, guys, at 12 noon, right? And 12 noon for Peach's show tomorrow. She's got a great show lined up uh, uh, for tomorrow. I believe the topic is who's the prize, men or women, right? So that should be really cool. I'm gonna try to drop in there tomorrow and give my opinions and hear all the other people's wonderful opinions. So what we're gonna do is just give it a scale of 1 to 10. And what we're gonna do is when you get that number, what I want you to do is I'm gonna show you where you're gonna tap. You're gonna tap on this karate chop part here, and you're just gonna just you could repeat after me, or you could just allow yourself to hear these words and let them resonate with you, or while you're tapping. So tapping on the karate chop, right? We're gonna make it real easy. I'm gonna show you how you do this, so it's very simple. You can use whatever words you want to adjust this to what you're experiencing. So even though I have all this worry and anxiety, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. We're going to do that 3 times. Even though I have all this anxiety and worry, I choose to love, honor, and accept myself. One last time. Even though I have all this anxiety and worry, I choose to love, honor, and accept myself and anyone else or anything else that might be involved. I'm going to tap here, right there in the bridge, and you can just let the words resonate or repeat after me. All this worry, stress, and anxiety. All this worry, stress, and anxiety. Take a deep breath. Let that emotion come up, all that worry and stress, and just breathe out. Just notice how it dissipates. All this worry, stress, and anxiety underneath the eye. Bridge of the mouth here. All this stress, worry, and anxiety here beneath. All this worry, stress, and anxiety. And the collarbones area. All this worry, stress, and anxiety. And then right in the armpit. All this worry, stress, and anxiety. Crown of the head. All this worry, stress, and anxiety. I'm going to do it one last time. Take a deep breath. All this worry, stress, and anxiety. All this worry, stress, and anxiety. I think I'm ready to let this worry, stress, and anxiety go. All this worry, stress, and anxiety. It may have served me at one time, and at one point. Collarbone. And I understand that it was just protection to keep me safe under the arm, but it's no longer in service to me. And I choose to set it free now. Top of the head. Setting free all the stress, worry, and anxiety in mind, body, and spirit. Stop tapping. Take a deep breath. Hold it. And breathe out. And notice where that stress is now. If it was a 7 or higher, notice that it might be a little bit lower and even lower than that. So, I've been Talib. This is Beyond the Mind. I want to thank you for joining us. Tune in tomorrow night for the 12 noon show with Peaches, and we'll be back next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And Talib, you want to say anything to the people before we go?
Uh, I just want to thank you for having me. I will try to have my camera on next time. Or, yeah, I had to come in last minute and get my email, get it sent through my text. But next time, I will be here from the start if uh I am welcome again. I mean, not if that's in the
Yeah,
plan.
no, I'll see
I
you.
don't know the
You'll be back
schedule.
next week.
Hey,
We'll see you next Friday.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. And that was amazing. My mind went down. I'll talk to you about it afterwards.
That's awesome. So I'm gonna have Peach take us out with what brought us in. That's a little thing I put together myself about the little history of how hypnosis and hypnotic modalities have been used to shape the world and how you can use it to shape your life. You can also find my links. You can check out my webpage at beyondthemindhypnotherapy.com. You can also book a free consultation. I also have scholarship certifications up there for free sessions. So if you would like a free session as well, we do have those. But yeah, it's been great. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next Friday.
Welcome to Rewriting Your Reality, a video focused on hypnotic modalities to shift the belief systems that keep you captive. We will explore the journey from being subconsciously programmed to achieving quantum freedom. Get ready to dismantle everything you thought you knew about your own limitations. The mind's power is a historical fact. Franz Mesmer introduced animal magnetism in the 1700s. James Braid coined hypnotism, defining it as a focused physiological state. Crucially, before anesthesia, major surgeries were performed using this trance state, proving the mind's ability to override physical pain. My personal journey proves the mind transcends the body. A near-death experience revealed pure awareness. After being paralyzed, I reprogrammed my body through visualization and discipline. The core truth is that identity is the prison and the key. Your mind can reshape reality itself. Unmasking the global hypnotic modality. Secret societies and governments. They understood the power of the trance state long ago and weaponized it to shape societal structures from the shadows. Corporate hypnosis. Advertising and media use sophisticated neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, to obscure reality and shift your belief systems without your consent. The ultimate goal, to control the narrative, consumption, and consciousness of the masses, turning individuals into predictable units of a manufactured paradigm. They are the masters of the hypnotic modality. The first element of global hypnotic modality is authority, manufactured to establish psychological inferiority. Uniforms, robes, and controlled environments trigger unquestioning obedience. When you look up to an authority, your critical factor is lowered, accepting suggestions as absolute truth. The uniform is the first induction. The second element is translogic, a self-contained system logical only within its own framework. This creates a closed loop of reasoning. A doctrine establishes ultimate authority, turning rules into absolute truths. The paradigm acts as a perceptual filter, making external manipulation feel like internal conviction. The third element is overload, creating an intense, rapid-fire experience that bypasses the conscious mind. Techniques include sensory saturation, emotional triggers, and message overload. This forces the subject to feel something profound, anchoring the belief without rational scrutiny. The heart accepts what the head has no time to question. The grand illusion is when you become your own hypnotist. Division keeps us fighting each other, distracting us from the masters of the modality. They use filtered evidence to make you doubt your power. The ultimate control is when you self-hypnotize with their suggestions. I am not enough. This is the self-hypnosis of suffering. The quick release uses the Sedona method to clear emotional debris. Emotional baggage is just something you are holding on to. You can drop it using these 4 questions. Could I let this feeling go? Would I let this feeling go? When? Answer. Now. Repeat until you feel a tangible shift in your state. The reframe shifts meaning and reality. Change the meaning you attach to an event, and you change your emotional response. Content reframing actively searches for the positive intent or hidden benefit. Failure is just data and feedback. A block is a stepping stone. Change the question to change the destination. You are already in a trance. Self-hypnosis is choosing your own program. This is your new operating system. Use a simple countdown to enter a deep state and plant empowering beliefs into your subconscious mind. Consistent practice rewrites your core identity, dissolving suffering and manifesting the quantum you. Are you ready to take your quantum leap? This exclusive transformation package offers the book 30 Days to the Quantum You, custom video masterclasses, and a personal Zoom session for deep work. Stop fighting the illusion and start rewriting